The following podcast is brought to you by Pro Wrestling Connect, Australia's newest choice for event management and brand development specializing in pro wrestling.
And now, the B Plus Wrestling Podcast. Watch global. Support local. It's the B Plus Wrestling Podcast.
The moves.
B plus.
Check it out! Here we go! You wanna mess with us? Cause we're steady on the ground.
All right, ladies, gents, and non-binary friends, welcome to the B Plus Podcast. I'm your host, Greg Unchained. Today is Saturday. You know what that means. It's time for the NXT Edition. Joining me to talk NXT UK and NXT this week, Lance Larson. How are you, man?
I am well, Greg. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I drank quite a bit last night, and so I'm sort of feeling the effects of that. But I had a good time. That's what it's all about, right?
Yes. That's what it's supposed to be all about, at least.
I actually just realized when I asked you if you wanted to talk NXT, I didn't make it very clear that I meant NXT UK as well. Have you watched NXT UK as well today?
No, I have not.
Damn. Okay. I run into this problem a lot when I bring people on to talk NXT. So I always mean like the whole package, like both. So I'll run through the NXT UK quickly, and then we can start talking NXT. I mean, you know what's happening in NXT UK, so you can always provide reactions anyway. Yeah. So we cold open with hype for the tag title match, which is coming up in the main event between obviously the champions Gibson and Drake, the grizzled young vets, and Mustache Mountain. Which I'm told I say mustache weird. Am I saying that weird?
I say mustache. That's how we say it in the States, at least.
Okay. Mustache. I'm not sure. Then Rhea Ripley comes out and she tells Piper Niven she's sick of waiting. She's sick of being told what to do. Let's do this now. So Piper Niven comes out and they have a really good powerful match. It looks like Rhea Ripley has the advantage because in addition to the power, she has a bit more technique. She's rocking the leg holds and stuff. But ultimately, Piper Niven overcomes, hits the big senton, gets the win. Piper Niven building a hot streak here as she moves presumably towards Toni Storm.
Yes. I think she should be kept away from the title for a while. So Piper Niven overall is an excellent wrestler. I watched her main event at Pro Wrestling Eve this past weekend with Kaylee Ray, and I was once again reminded of how excellent she is. So I think, because she's still kind of newer and only has a few matches under her belt in NXT UK, I think she's someone that should continue to collect wins like this for several months, i.e. the rest of the year, before she's maybe in the title picture. Because the NXT UK women's division has a lot of folks in there that could be in between title defenses for Storm. And so I think keeping them apart could lead to a bigger match down the road.
Yeah, definitely. Then we see a little backstage skit. They're still at Download Festival, by the way. So we see a little, when I say backstage, it's like out in the grounds. Yeah. And Kenny Williams is getting interviewed, but Noam Dar attacks him and like presses his head into the dirt. It was kind of awkward. We move on with a squash match. This is the story with NXT UK. It's just lots of squash matches, right? So Alexander Wolf defeats Jack Stars. Jack Stars is sort of their jobber guy that comes in every other week to do the honors for somebody. This week it was Alexander Wolf as they're building the Imperium squad.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense him getting a squash win here. Totally on board with that.
Yeah. We get a weird Gallus promo. Now, I was watching the promo segments in 1.5 times speed. Anytime it would go like from bell to bell, I'm watching the match and then I hit it to 1.5 times speed to try to rock through the show because I have a lot of wrestling to watch in a week. And I cannot understand Gallus at 1.5 times speed.
That's really funny. Honestly, I probably couldn't either. I've never tried that, but I'm sure I wouldn't be able to either. Yeah,
well, like I listen to podcasts at 2.5 times speed and I retain the info. I've trained myself over time to build myself up to it. Like it started at 1.2 and then it went up to 1.5 and then 1.8 and then 2. And now I'm at 2.5. Some particularly slow podcasts I can listen to on 3 times speed. But people with like a lot of intensity, like Joe Rogan, like if you get Joe Rogan talking to what's that guy who talks really fucking fast? The political guy, the right wing guy, Ben Shapiro. No,
Ben
Ben Shapiro. Yeah. When you get Joe Rogan talking to Ben Shapiro, like that episode, I had to bump it right back to 1.5 because like that guy goes a mile a minute. But yeah, I think it's the accents more than anything with Gallus. Like at 1.5 times speed, it was just illegible. They were talking about something they were planning for next week, and the cameras came in and stuff, and they were talking about their match that they have against the Hunt, and they said something about Dave Mastiff. They lingered on Dave Mastiff for a minute, but I didn't quite catch what they were saying because of the accents. But I had fun watching it because I'm like, I have no idea what these guys are saying, and I'm hungover. So it was good. And then we move on and we get Jazzy Gabert versus Danny Luna and Mercedes Blaze. So this was a 2-on-1 match. Ginny was at ringside, didn't come into play because she doesn't need to. Jazzy wins this one in about 2.5 minutes flat.
Excellent. Honestly, that sounds like very smart booking for Jazzy. 2 squashes back to back, though, sounds a little quirky.
Yeah.
But I'm a fan of
this
squash
wasn't
wins.
This wasn't 2 squashes back to back. This was a handicap match.
Oh, how long did it go though?
Yeah, like 2.5 minutes.
Oh yeah, that sounds like squash to me.
Yeah, she just beat the crap out of both of them and guess. Oh, you're talking about the squash she had last week as well, because she did another one at the Download Festival, didn't she? Where she's another jobber.
Oh, I was talking about Alexander Wolf getting a squash win and then Jazzy Gabert getting a squash win.
Yeah, that's like I said, that's NXT UK though. They normally only have 1 major match. This time around they had 2. They had the Rhea Ripley and Piper Niven thing, and then they also had the tag title match in the main event. Before we got there though, we had a Cassius Ohno clip talking about the super kick and how that came from a UK wrestler and how nobody in the UK appreciates the UK heritage like him and how he's the best British wrestler. I love Cassius Ohno's NXT UK gimmick.
Yeah, totally. Maybe it's weird for me as an American to comment on this, but I would only assume a British person would be PO'd at something like that. Obviously understanding it's to work and everything, but still just that would be something that would get under folks' skin. That would get something under my skin, I feel like, if I was in their shoes.
Yeah, absolutely. It gets under my skin and I'm not British. I think it's amazing. And that's why I like it so much. When I say I love the gimmick because it's so hateable. And that's the point, right? You're meant to be like, what the hell are you you're I don't know, where's he from? Ohio? What are you doing? You're the best British wrestler. All right, mate. Jog on. So, yeah. Good fun from Cassius Ohno. Very nice. Obviously, everything NXT and NXT UK is really well produced.
Yes.
And then we move on and we get the tag title match. This was looking to be a really fucking good match, which, we know Grizzled Young Vets and Moustache Mountain do. They have amazing matches. They have very good chemistry. There was one point right near the end where Tyler Bate gets Trent up and does the DVD, like the rolling DVD sort of thing, onto Zach Gibson. And then they go for the pin, and I swear it was a 3 count. It was the closest 2 count I've ever seen. I've seen counts that were 2.999. This was infinite repeating. It was so close. And he kicked out, and then Imperium hit the ring and interrupt a great match, which always bums me out when there's an interruption into a great match. And then an extended beatdown, multiple apron power bombs, power bomb into the actual the post as well on the ring, on the outside of the ring. It was a good segment, but at the same time, I couldn't help but think, man, they just did this in NXT.
Yeah. Greg, you know how I feel about clean finishes in general.
Yes.
But even more so in main events, and even more so for title matches. So I would have to see it before I officially came down with a judgment on it. But in my heart of hearts, hearing that, I'm like, there had to have been a better way to book furthering the Mustache Mountain and Imperium food other than a dusty finish in a title match in the main event of your TV show.
Yeah, it wasn't great. And like I said, because they just did this with Undisputed Era running in and interfering with all the Street Profits stuff and the War Raiders stuff, and there's been heaps of stuff like that on NXT lately.
Yeah.
So then when I watch NXT UK, I want it to be, I don't like when they repeat storylines or story structures too frequently.
Yeah, or motifs or things like that to move the story along. Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah.
But with Triple H overseeing both, there's gonna be some overlap.
I understand that.
Yeah,
it's how he does the builds. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, which is I was going to go on a main roster tangent, but I won't do that.
We can, you know what? Let's break it up before we get to NXT. Because the B Plus didn't release a WWE podcast this week. Our lonely fan CJ is, he's dealing with some issues with the head and stuff, and we
Sure.
respect that. It's something that happens, and so he's taken a bit of time off. So there's been no lonely WWE fan podcast this week. I thought WWE was actually quite good this week.
Oh,
I wild card aside and stuff, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I didn't see a second of Raw and SmackDown. So even with the announcement of Heyman and Bischoff coming in for their roles, and I don't know how much of that is really implemented yet. I know Heyman stepped in a little more immediately because he was already involved with the booking process and everything, at least somewhat. So it's probably easier for him to just have a bigger role instead of Bischoff, who's been outside the company for, however many years now. So he's going to be more slowly transitioned in, I think. But yeah, the only WWE...
Well, he wasn't there. He wasn't there at the SmackDown taping. So,
he wasn't? Okay.
No, so apparently he wasn't there, but Heyman was at Raw. Heyman was in Gorilla, and you could feel his shit all over it. Like the Bobby Lashley, Braun Strowman thing, and then having in promos later in the night, I think it might have been Seth Rollins, and he was just like, my thoughts are with Bobby Lashley and stuff. Like, little things like that, or like obviously the cuckolding angle with the Canellises, which I love. It's classic late 90s ECW or mid 90s ECW. It's straight out of that playbook, right?
Yes, it is exactly straight out of that playbook, Greg. And that
Tommy
is exactly
Dreamer,
why
Francine,
like
Raven.
Yes.
I love that shit.
Oh my god, I can't. We could not disagree more on this. That is exactly what I don't want in my wrestling.
Next minute, I want Bray Wyatt to take in Kofi Kingston's kid to the Firefly Funhouse and have Kofi Kingston's kid become a disciple of Bray Wyatt and push him on the swing, and him say, have him pushing him on the swing and have him say, Bray Wyatt's my daddy now. Like, oh man, love that shit. Sandman and Ray, fuck yeah, that's my shit.
Nothing could drive me further from the product.
I'm so happy Paul Heyman is at the wheel.
I think he is an improvement from who was at the wheel, and I don't have to like every angle in a company, obviously. Even my favorite companies on the planet, there are things they do, and I'm like, oh, that's dumb, or oh, they shouldn't have done that. So I'm fine with an angle or two that I, don't like or even hate. But I do think Heyman overall is an improvement, depending on how much authority he has and how long he has that authority. I'm very wait and see with the change of power on Raw.
Yeah, definitely. I think that so I think it's an improvement because it's stories. It didn't feel like there were stories before. Like there weren't coherent stories. These feel like the beginnings. No. Yeah. They feel like the beginnings of coherent stories, which I am here for. You tell me a coherent story, I'm like, that's better than all the shit we've had for the last 5 years. But also, I've never asked you, what are your thoughts on Chikara? Do you watch Chikara?
I have never actually seen a single Chikara match in my life.
Okay, I feel like you would probably hate it, but
see, I'll take your word for it, but I feel like with what they set up as their fictional universe, I'd be more accepting of it because I know going in it's supposed to be a little weird, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm just saying there was a period there. So the colony are really big in Chikara, right? They're the ants. You got fire ant, green ant, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point, a massive corporation in storyline, a massive corporation bought the wrestling company, and they introduced, like they had their director of fun introduced a corporate version of the ants that was like late 90s action figure, like it was missile assault ant and deep space ant and all this sort of stuff. Like it's just that's fucking hilarious to me. I'm just like, that is so goddamn good. Like I cannot. They had time travel in their shit, man. Time travel. People wrestling their future selves or interfering in matches. Come on, man. Chikara's amazing. Yeah, so that's why I'm like I don't know if it's going to be your bag. Like when they have spots like what was his name? Ophidian doing the hypnosis spot. Have you ever seen that?
I don't think I have. No.
Yeah, or the invisible grenade, of course, with Chucky T and them. Like
love
that's
the invisible grenade.
okay. Cool. Okay, well maybe you will be into it then. Maybe I don't know because to me, Chikara is ECW for kids.
Oh wow, I think you and I view ECW very differently. Because like I hear that stuff and like satire, I am all here for. Postmodern wrestling, I am all here for. Like when Matty Wahlberg and Big Fudge swapped bodies, like that was the fucking
Yes.
greatest goddamn thing. Like I'm watching
Yes.
this match and I'm blown away by it. So like I like that shit. So if you're gonna do something weird, like be weird, be satirical, be absurdist, like lean into that. Don't do a drama from the '90s angle. Like that's so fucking done for me. But I'm also
maybe I'm wrong then. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you would be into Chikara because you are a big PWA fan too, and PWA
maybe I would be
big fans of Chikara, and you can see the influence.
Because like I'm so burned out on anything ECW, Attitude Era, Bischoff Era WCW. Like, and well, really anything WCW post 97. Because I can't, like, that stuff has been so overdone, so overpraised, so overanalyzed that I can't wait to just completely move on from that. And I just don't want that in my wrestling anymore. I want something new, I want something fresh, and I want new ideas in my wrestling.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
This month we are sponsored by Grapple, a fantastic new wrestling app available on iOS and Google Play completely for free, where you can rate all the matches that you watch in WWE, Impact Wrestling, New Japan Pro Wrestling, all across the world, and we are even getting Australian wrestling involved in the Grapple app rating system as well, starting with PWA Pro Wrestling Australia. Their Green Label event from the other week is up there. The Black Label event, All Eyes on Troy, is up there. And the last 2 years of events, at least, are up on Grapple right now for you to rate so that people can get around our Aussie wrestling and see that we are just as good as anywhere else in the world. Basically, Grapple is a Rotten Tomatoes for wrestling. Now we all get a say. It is the democratization of match rating systems for pro wrestling. It's amazing. So I get a say, you get a say. You can follow me on there at Greg Unchained. You can follow Big Boy Mikey at B+_Big Boy. At Mr. Mysterious is on there. At Danders is on there. At Jay is on there. We're all on there rating the matches that we watch. So follow us. We'll follow you back. Let's build this community and get as many Australian wrestling fans onto the Grapple app as we can. You can download it right now. It has over 30,000 matches on there going back to 1985, 15 promotions around the world. There's so much to do on the Grapple app. It's a great little community, so get around it. It's Grapple, GRAPPL.co, and it's for free on App Store and Google Play. Get around it. Hey everyone, just want to take a second to tell you about one of our new sponsors, OUTBREAK NUTRITION. OUTBREAK NUTRITION are creating supplements for survival, sharper minds, quicker reflexes, all the energy you need to take your performance to the next level, whether that be on the field, in the gym, on the gaming field. That's right, they have specifically designed gaming supplements as well to help you focus on those late night sessions. They even sell coffee, you guys, at OUTBREAK NUTRITION. You can get coffee pods, you can get coffee beans, you can get supplements for the bedroom as well if you want to enhance your performance there. These are performance enhancing supplements for every aspect of your life, specifically designed by gamers, for gamers, to stay fit and healthy in the gym, to stay sharp and focused on the game, and to dominate in all areas of life. So check out OUTBREAKNutrition.com, and for being a listener of our podcast, they will give you 10% off your order when you enter the code B+. That is BPLUS at checkout. So make sure, if you want to stay on top of your game, if you want to take your performance to the next level, OUTBREAKNutrition.com, enter the code B+ at checkout. Hey guys, just a reminder, if you want to hear all of these wonderful B+ podcast episodes completely ad-free, make sure you head over to Patreon or Podbean, where we are the featured podcast this week. You can subscribe for as little as $1 a month up to $10 a month, where anything you want to help us with, it really helps out. It's going to help us grow the site. It's going to help us redesign some things, and everything that we get through this and through the advertising as well is all going straight back into the podcast so that we can get Aussie Graps out there for the rest of the world to hear about, for the rest of the world to see, so we can grow this mission of watch global, support local, and build indie wrestling. So if you want to be a part of that and get some really cool rewards like call-in shows, bonus episodes, ad-free like I mentioned, then head over to patreon.com/theb+ and subscribe today. But that's I guess we've gone on a wild tangent here talking about 90s ECW and Chikara and all this sort of stuff, and it's fun. This is why I like having you on the show, man, because we can go crazy with this shit. We could probably talk forever, but we have a limited amount of time left, so let's focus in on this week's NXT. What did you think of this week's episode overall?
Oh man, so a thumbs up episode for me. But it's funny, I'm watching it with my brother this morning, and I'm like, I really have like no hot takes on this episode. Like there was fine wrestling, there was, the next step and a couple stories. But beyond that, it's just like, yeah, it was fine. It was good. It was there.
Yeah.
Like as we go
that's how I feel about MLW a lot too. Like it's just it's a good show. Yeah. This was a good hour of my life. I feel nothing other than that was good.
Yeah, makes sense. Some good wrestling. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Really what
so Mia Yim opened the show with a win over Aaliyah. Right call here, building Mia Yim up towards the title, and she actually goes straight to the announcer's desk and sends a message to Shayna. I'm coming to whoop that ass.
So even on NXT, some of the promo dialogue, like I very much prefer the NXT dialogue to the main roster dialogue, don't get me wrong. But a lot of it is still, take it or leave it for me. It fits her who her character is. So I guess in that sense, in a thumbs up, doesn't necessarily make me more interested in the match. But, whatever.
Yeah, fair enough. Then we get Forgotten Sons, and they're mad. They want another title match. How many have they had at this point? They've had a few, right?
Unjustifiably so. They've had, they were in that ladder match. They had one with Street Profits afterwards, right? That was interrupted by Jackson Riker, who interfered.
Yep.
Oh my! Yep. Why the fuck? Okay, maybe I do have some hot takes on this. Why the fuck is Forgotten Sons getting all these goddamn title matches for no reason and being such a featured act in this tag team division when they have done nothing in the ring to deserve the spot that they're in the tag team division, nor in kayfabe? This is not for me, Greg. Forgotten Sons are not a team for me.
I'm not a huge fan of the Forgotten Sons myself. They kind of won me over a little in the Dusty Classic, but yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the Forgotten Sons. And Regal justifiably says they're at the back of the line, and they look pissed off about that, and they leave.
Some logic there from Sir Regal.
Yes, he's a bastion. He is a bastion. We find out, though, that he has booked the Street Profits versus Birch and Lorcan for next week. Looking forward to that. I don't know when Birch and Lorcan last got a win. I'm not great with remembering because I watch too much. But
see, here's the deal. Me neither, but I'm willing to overlook it because I like them as workers. So I'm going to ignore the kayfabe lack of reasoning here because I'm going to really enjoy the match.
You're just like, I will allow this.
Yes.
Yeah. Then we get, probably this was the highlight of the show for me, the Adam Cole Championship Tour, right?
Oh, really? I couldn't stand this segment.
Yeah, see, we have very different tastes. We have very different tastes at times. Yeah,
I like doing episodes with you because of our different opinions on certain things. So why did you like it?
Okay, so he's at Gargano's Pizza, right? Now, so I'm guessing he's back in America, right? Because he said I've just got in from download. So he's back in America?
Yes, I believe he was in Ohio.
Okay, so is this Johnny Gargano's parents' pizzeria? Is that what we're supposed to believe?
That was the impression I got. I don't think that was articulated.
No, it wasn't clear, but it was implied. Like I felt like, oh wait, because the way Mr. Gargano looked at him, was like, what are you doing here? And he's like, I've got an order for pizzas. And then both he and the missus working the counter. They both go in the back to go in and get the pizzas or whatever. And he goes and puts a picture of himself on the Wall of Fame. But I didn't see Johnny Gargano on the Wall of Fame.
I thought I did see a picture of him and Candace, and those were the only two I could make out in the brief shot.
Okay, so maybe it was. I didn't, again, watching on 1.5 times speed, it didn't look like I saw. I probably shouldn't do that if I want to catch details. Like in segments like this, there was probably some detail there. So assuming Johnny was on the wall, we can assume this was Johnny's parents. I think that's the implication here. And that's some serious psychological warfare there from Adam Cole. just because he is that egotistical, I run the world, I'm the champ, this is my shit. Like, I love seeing that from this character. And so he goes in there, he sticks a picture of himself on the wall, which they take down once he leaves. And then he goes to a wrestling school that apparently Johnny went to back in May. And when Johnny was champion, and Johnny was like, you guys could be NXT champion too. Like, this is the start of your journey. And he goes and he gives them the pizza, and he tells them that he feels bad for them because Johnny Gargano lied to them. He's full of crap. Anyone can get lucky once. That's what Johnny did. And basically he says that Johnny Gargano was really mean to you guys by letting you think that you could be champions. You're never going to be champions. Go take a slice of pizza, take it home, sit on the couch, eat it, and give up. How can you not hate this guy?
So,
I mean, he has a punchable face in addition to all of this.
yeah, well, he's a handsome face. I don't know if that necessarily makes it punchable.
It is when you have a face like mine.
There's
There's a reason we do a podcast, Lance.
Greg's bearing himself on his own show. So, I'm not against the psychology of the segment of him being so vain and obsessed with Gargano that he feels the need to fly, to wherever the fuck, Ohio, to like show up at his family member's restaurant, drop by his old training school, and just like leave a dump in his backyard. So I'm not against that psychology, but the way the segment was executed came off as so incredibly tacky to me. I was out of it in the first 40 seconds. And so I just couldn't connect with anything else thereafter.
Okay, see, I like that. I like things that are a little bit cheesy. But like when watching Impact, I enjoy Ali and Rosemary and stuff going into the underworld to fight for her soul. Like, I can hear you hating me through the phone.
Oh, I was like shaking my head with my mouth agape while you were saying that. And I'm like, oh, I can't. Because I literally, in my notes for Impact last week, I literally wrote Impact skits suck. Word like.
Right. Just to give you an idea, I had a dream about booking an Australian promotion, right? Mm-hmm. And it was shot. You know how PWA with their promo videos, they're very cinematic, right? Like when you think back to that Matty Wahlberg promo with the cup on the stairs, right?
I adore that promo, Greg.
Yeah.
Like it made me feel things.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did. I was a high school emo.
Oh my God. It brought me back to high school. I was like feeling things that I didn't even think I felt in high school. It was so fucking good. This guy, we're going on a Matty Wahlberg tangent. I don't even care. Matty Wahlberg is so fucking good in every goddamn aspect of this fucking business. His look, his promo, his in-ring stuff, his blend of styles and his in-ring stuff is so fucking good. He is a brilliant guy. After this Survivor shit, this motherfucker needs to be signed somewhere to a multi-year contract in an English-speaking promotion, because this guy can go in every single way you want him to. And he's fairly young. He's got quite the future ahead of him. He's amazing. Yeah. I fucking love Matty Wahlberg.
Yeah, Matty Wahlberg is amazing. He really is. And he's also like, so having dealt with him for podcast episodes and other dealings, just in person at shows and stuff, he's fantastic to the fans, even though he's a heel character, right? And he's still like, he was ripping on me. Him and Carter Deems came over and was like, "Oh, is this the podcast guy?" And puts his arm on my head because he's so much taller than me, right? And they're like ripping on me about how I get all my predictions wrong when I predict PWA shows. Do you even watch the product, bro? Like they were, but they're amazing at interacting with fans. And And when I shoot him a DM about something for the podcast or whatever, he's always super professional. So like, even when you say he gets everything about the business, even on the PR side, putting himself out there into Survivor, knowing that, okay, I do have the Fale Dojo thing, which could lead to New Japan, but Survivor leads to press for Australian wrestling, and I get to prove myself as a person who, yes, I'm a wrestler in that fake shit, but look how fucking athletic I am. Right? Like, everything this kid does is fucking golden. And he will be somewhere very quickly.
He needs to be somewhere. How old is he? Do you know?
I don't know. I don't know how old he is. He's a teacher, which means he's got to be, unless he's like ridiculously smart and skipped grades and what have you, he'd have to be at least 22. Oh,
yeah. But like, he's certainly under 30, right?
Oh yeah, no, he would be mid-20s.
Oh yeah, okay, that's what I was thinking, because he's got at least a decade of him, at least, barring any kind of horrible injury or anything. But fuck,
Yeah, I
in
love
the
it when
ring-
this turns into a Matty Wahlberg PWA love fest. Let's do it.
Because I feel like PWA is like the thing that we 100% agree on, and we're just in total adoration of it.
Yeah, well, it was the thing that got you on my radar as well, so,
Oh,
so it makes sense. It makes sense. Well, but what I was saying though, so this dream I had, just to tell you,
Oh yeah, I'm
this
so
is another
sorry.
this is another wild tangent. Anyway,
Yeah.
we'll get back to NXT, folks. We will, but I want to talk to my friend Lance here for a second. I've got him on the phone. We're going to do this. I had a dream about booking a promotion, and it was shot very cinematically, like the PWA stuff. And I had Mick Moretti, and they were doing experiments on him because he had managed to. He was fucking around with this Rubik's Cube, and it sucked him into an alternate dimension. And they were experimenting on him because they realized that he was a metahuman and had powers. He could transform literally into a dragon. And so then I had Mick Moretti wrestling as their secret weapon, this group that were experimenting on him. And he was painted up in dragon like he was literally the Green Dragon, and he was wrestling as a Green Dragon in the wrestling ring as like a final boss. Like, this is the kind of wrestling I dream about.
Yeah.
The tacky, weird, wonderful shit. That's just to. So when it's tacky, I'm in.
So like what you described, like that sounds great. I'm totally fine with a promotion like that existing and making content. That sounds really interesting. I would check that promotion out. But like when I say tacky in this segment, I mean like poorly acted, cheesy dialogue. Like I'm not buying anyone for a second. It feels low rent, even though the production is good. Like, and
that's
I'm just
part of the
taken out
appeal. You don't like B grade cinema, do you?
No, I do not.
Not even like the Mystery Science Theater 3000 version where people are just ripping on it. Like,
I've never seen Mystery Science 3000.
Wow. Did you ever watch $5 Wrestling with Colt Cabana and that doing commentary over really bad indies?
No, I did not. But that sounds hilarious.
Yeah. See, I love that shit. When something is really bad and you're not sure if it's intentionally bad or not, but it's really bad and you can kind of... all of that shit is my shit, man. So when I'm watching this, I'm just like Adam Cole feels disingenuous, but not in a way where it's bad. Like, you can tell he's... I don't know, man. I love the shit out of this segment. It was the highlight of the show for me.
Sure. I just feel like that what they tried to accomplish in this segment, they could have done in a backstage promo.
Fair enough. Yeah, with him hanging from the rafters, NWO style, like that whole, with all the crew around him. Yeah.
Oh, I love Undisputed Era. They are exactly like the kind of people that I just thought were such dumbasses in high school. It works so well. Just these cocky, rich, athletic kids, and it pisses you off because they are so good at athletics. And they're so fucking arrogant about it, and it just works so well. I love it.
Yeah, and like even the ugly one in the group, like Kyle O'Reilly, and he's still gonna be pulling the hottest chicks when he's doing that weird air guitar thing, and you're like, you aren't cool. Why do you think you're so cool?
Why do people like him? It's like, cool, I get, but he's annoying. But like, Riley, really? O'Reilly? So great. You're so right. I didn't even think about that. I'm like, that's so right. Like, oh god.
He's that guy in the group. Like, every one of those groups had that guy, and Kyle O'Reilly just fucking nails it. I love him so much. Anyway, we've gone on a tangent. This is amazing. Kushida defeats, I think the guy's name was Jeff Parker.
I didn't catch it. It was a squash.
Yeah, super squash. Kushida rolls on undefeated in NXT. And then we get to Tyler Breeze.
No, we do not.
No?
Oh, no, I'm so sorry. I thought you were jumping to the match. Forgive me. Please continue.
No. I'm talking about the little promo he did where he's sort of leaning into he's leaning into this I built NXT gimmick, which to me, like, I feel like he's going to come off as a heel if he's not careful.
I think that might be where they're headed with him.
Yeah?
Because I think, I guess I shouldn't say they. Triple H. I don't think it would be uncommon for him to have someone who's still technically classified as a face do somewhat heelish kind of feeling things before they turn heel. One, to sow seeds for it so you're kind of ready for it when it happens. And two, it's like Tyler Breeze can't come down to NXT as a heel. Like, he knows that. He knows people are going to be happy to see him. So he's going to let it play out for a while technically as a face while cutting a few heel promos along the way. So when it does happen, we're ready for it.
Yeah, like what you want Impact to do with RVD, but instead they're just like, no, he's a face. And you're like, what?
Yes.
Right. Okay. All right. I'm on board. I get it. And that makes sense to me. So if they're going towards a heel, Tyler Breeze, that makes a lot of sense. Because yeah, being the whole I built NXT thing, that's, I mean, you cheer it the first time because you're like, yeah, you're back and you were a pioneer here kind of thing. But
Yep.
how much of that is actually true? And so, yeah, I don't know. I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes, I suppose, now that you mentioned that.
Yeah.
Cameron Grimes, Isaiah, Swerve Scott in the breakout tournament, round one. How this was a round one match, no one fucking knows, but it was, and it was a great match. Cameron Grimes wins, which I think they telegraphed by giving him the little picture-in-picture promo, but not Isaiah Scott.
Oh, Swerve didn't get a. Oh, I could have sworn he got a picture-in-picture. I could be.
Did he get a picture-in-picture? If he did, it wasn't memorable.
It was. I thought it was very short. I thought it was legit, like 10 seconds. But I thought he got one. I didn't write it down either way, so someone listening remembers for sure.
Yeah, and I'll get an angry message like, he did do it. Were you even watching? I was watching.
The product, bro. So
I don't. That's why I dedicate like 90% of my life to this shit. That's...
So I loved this match. So I actually watched it with my brother this morning. So my brother, I love getting his opinion on wrestling because he's a true Blue Laps fan that just got back into wrestling in like the last 4 months or so. So I love hearing like who he likes, why he likes them, who's not connecting with him and stuff. And so like he's super into Swerve. Like halfway through this match, he's like loving Swerve. He's like, oh man, Swerve has to win. And then Swerve loses and he's devastated, but that's
right.
That's a different side. But he got over so quickly with my brother, who's like, watched stuff back in the day, fell off every time he'd watch WWE for, an hour once a month, he'd hate it. And then he watched NXT, he's like, this is great. He watched AEW, he's like, this is great. And so Swerve got over with him really quickly.
That's good. I like Swerve a lot. I've been meaning to listen to his podcast as well. I know Jonah Rock was on it a couple of weeks ago, and Elliot Sexton and Rhea Ripley, like they were all, the Aussie crew were on his podcast. And that's I feel like if I listen to his podcast, he'll get even more over with me. So it gives him an advantage.
Totally.
But no, I do. I'm a fan of, I'm not a big fan of the name changes, but maybe it'll just take time. Like Cameron Grimes, Trevor Lee was a good name. What was wrong with that name?
Yeah.
How come
that name?
Why does Kushida get to keep his name?
I don't know.
But Trevor Lee doesn't. Jonah Rock doesn't. Like, I don't know. I don't know the reasoning there, but Cameron Grimes wins, and it was a great match. It was a great match. Some of the strikes. Is it the strikes that does it for you, brother? Because Swerve like knees and kicks like a motherfucker.
Yes, he enjoyed those. He's a big moves fan, so. Like, he enjoyed that, handstand head scissors takeover he had on Grimes. And then once he did the Sasuke special over the top, it's like, that's what sealed the deal. And so my brother's like, oh, yep, this guy.
Because I remember you guys talking on one of the episodes about, like, Rey Mysterio being your shit growing up, like the cruiserweights in WCW and stuff. You should sit him down and get him to watch GCW's Backyard Show, which I'm going to be watching. I'm going to be watching that as soon as we finish recording this because I saw this insane gif of a guy doing a springboard 630 through a table, like from the ring to the outside. Yeah.
Fucking nuts.
Holy
and
shit.
It was so clean too. Like it was such a perfectly smooth move too. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, it's that's I can't wait to watch this show. That's the only thing I've seen, and I was like, okay, I'm getting off Twitter. I don't want to know because I have a feeling like I know Joey Janela's been talking to Superhuman, and so I'm like, did Superhuman show up? Don't tell me if you know. Don't tell me. I'm going to go watch the show after we finish recording, so I'm very much looking forward to that. Let's get back into NXT.
Yeah.
Bianca Belair defeats Sanita. Again, squash match. Wasn't sure about the name. Yeah. I should have been better. I apologize. I was dealing with whiny children. Bianca Belair wins, obviously.
Yeah. Is it bad that for squash matches, I never write down the jobber's name?
I try to, but the nameplate comes up and goes away so quickly. And
fast.
Like you can easily be already writing a note and miss the nameplate, and you don't want to rewind for the jobber's name, you know?
Nope. So I don't even bother.
Yeah, fair enough. So Belair wins, no surprises there. They're heating her back up. And then we get Tyler Breeze versus Roderick Strong. Really good match. So, I mean, match-wise, I don't know which match I preferred, this one or the Cameron Grimes and Isaiah Scott match. Probably the breakout tournament match, just because it was clean. And like you, I'm a big fan of clean finishes. This one ends with Strong hitting the end of Heartache after the Undisputed Era come in and do the distraction spot.
Yeah, I mean, both these guys are good workers. Strong, in particular, is excellent in everything he does in between the ropes. So smooth, so clean with everything. So, and
I
Breeze
believe,
is obviously
I believe the
very
word
good.
is he's a good hand.
Yeah.
Don't hit me with a chair.
Heal with a chair.
Yeah, but he's a good
Listen
hand.
to the same jokes. Yeah, he's a great hand. So like these guys, there was no way they were going to have even an average match. So well worked, really enjoyable. Told the story it needed to. Strong got the win as he's headed towards that North American title shot. So made sense. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I don't really have any hot takes beyond that.
Do you see Roderick Strong as a world champion, or is he an intercontinental US North American guy? Like that's his ceiling to me, I think.
So, I mean, he, as a heel, his ceiling is the IC level. If they wanted to bring back the babyface family man that he was on NXT, I don't know, a year and a half ago, you would have to wait and see. It still might be the IC level, but I think it would be possible. I don't know. The main roster audience is really different from the NXT audience.
Yes,
and sometimes getting stuff like sometimes they're not as willing to play along. So something like that might not get us over as a face. You're right. It's not that he's not talented enough to be a face, or I'm sorry, to be a main eventer on the main roster. I just don't know that. First of all, Vince, and secondly, the fan base would necessarily go for it.
Well, for me, it's the character and the it factor, and I just don't think it is there. Like, if I look at these two and I'm like, one of these two is going to be a world champion one day, you have to pick. Like, you're the booker. You have to pick one of these guys to push towards a world title scene. I'm picking Tyler Breeze every time. I prefer Roderick Strong as a wrestler. If I'm booking Ring of Honor and I need a world champion, I'm calling Roderick Strong for sure, right?
Yeah.
But
I'd have to sit and think really, really, really hard about that. I don't think I could give you an answer right now.
And I mean, look, having the Intercontinental title as your ceiling is not a bad thing.
No,
like I'm not, like you're making a lot of money up there. I'm just like, but when you talk about bringing back the Family Man thing, I don't think they can ever do that now because Marina Shafir
is a heel too. Yeah,
it wouldn't work. It just wouldn't work anymore.
Damn.
So yeah, they've ruined his money gimmick. Because I remember those videos, man, and I just had my second kid, and those videos made me cry like a little baby. I swear.
Yeah, I was here for it. I'm like, and like that's weird because that's something that's kind of cheesy that I was still here for, and I guess I really can't differentiate that. I need to articulate my different opinions on this better. But like I was here for it. I was just
sometimes it's just the feels, man. Sometimes it just gets you in the feels for whatever reason. Like, and I cry at freaking anything. I cried during the Brandy Rhodes thing on that Road to Fight for the Fallen yesterday.
I still need to watch that. I'm behind on Road to Fight for the Fallen.
Watch it. It's good. It lags a little in the middle when they're talking to the lawyers, but it's a good episode. But that does it for NXT this week. Thank you so much for coming on the show, man, and welcome officially to the B Plus Podcast Network. We're a network now, I guess.
We are a network, and I am the first branch.
Yeah, and I appreciate you coming on. I like what you do. People should listen to the Wrestling Landscape podcast as it goes up. It's really easy now because it's in this feed. You don't have to go anywhere else. But where can people go if they want to talk to you online and sort of interact with you and do all that good stuff?
Online, people can find me on the Twitter at WrestleLeanLands. The number 1. That is the only place to find me online.
Awesome. I am at Greg Unchained on Twitter, at the Greg Unchained on Instagram. We collectively are the B Plus Wrestle on Twitter because wrestling wouldn't fit. The B Plus Wrestling everywhere else. Like, share, subscribe, 5-star review if you like what we do. And thank you so much for listening.